Welcome back to Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp. With me today is Caitlin Strempel, and here's a bit about Caitlin. Caitlin Strempel, she's the CEO of Rising Ranks Digital, is an SEO expert and marketing success coach who helps business owners get to the top of their industry by getting to the top of Google and found online, working with local based businesses all the way to large scale global brands such as Under Armour, Lexus, and more. So she's definitely an expert, y'all. Caitlin is proud to have 100% success rate at getting her clients to the first page of Google. She believes that everyone has a message, and it's our duty to share that message with the people who need it the most. And without further ado, please help me welcome Caitlin Strempel.
Hello, it's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Caitlin, for just being on the podcast. And wow, reading your bio, it was actually the first time reading it. It was impressive because I was like, wow.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about your baby, SEO and digital strategy. That's all a part of your wheelhouse. But before we dive into it, I want you to tell the listeners and viewers a little bit more about who you are because your bio is just a bio and you only could put so much in there. So talk about your background journey leading up to where you are now.
All right. My name is Caitlin. As we know, I'm the CEO of Rising Ranks Digital. And I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I've lived in a bunch of different states, Colorado, LA, California, and then New York. And we moved back to Phoenix about 5 years ago. And I don't think I'm ever moving again. But I have always, quoting, grown up in the digital marketing space, advertising space. And that's what I went to school for. And it was just one of those things that I absolutely loved. And I really loved the strategy side of things and the analytical side of things, because to me, that's creative thinking, figuring out the numbers and what the numbers mean, or the psychology behind why people buy. And right out of college, I started working for ad agencies, marketing corporations, and it was really fun. However, great jobs, great people, great pay, but I always knew that I wanted something more. And at the time, I didn't realize what that exactly was. But as I grew up through the marketing world, I knew that I wanted to venture out on my own, and I never really could do it. Like, I would dip my toe in, do some freelancing, and then, pull back out and just, stay in my little comfort zone over here of, great job, great people, great pay. Because it's hard to leave something that's good. And it wasn't until I had my first son, and at 2 months old, we found out that we had to take him in for heart surgery. He was born with a heart defect, which we found out essentially that day. And from there, we were in and out of the hospital for weeks. My husband, he travels a lot for work, so he was kind of in and out. And I was just sitting there. And if anyone's worked in the agency side or marketing side of things, especially in big cities like LA and New York, they know that it is so cutthroat. You are praised for working, 12-hour plus days, working weekends, pulling all-nighters, and that was just not going to fly with me anymore. I wanted to make sure that my priorities now were taken care of, which is me, my family, and essentially, our health. And I would say it was like a month or two after we got back from the hospital, and we kind of, like, the dust settled, and I kind of was looking at the magnitude and feeling the magnitude of everything, and thought, you know what, like, this is the time. Like, I'm not going to go back to work. I'm going to go off on my own. It's just, if this was the kick in the pants that I needed. And so I started to listen to that little voice in my head telling me that to just go for it.
And that's amazing. And I like how you shared with us the personal side of your background as well as the professional side. And it sounds like you're really, really passionate about marketing back when you were in college to get your degree in it. Then you took it to the forefront in corporate America, quote unquote. Then, after that incident happened with your son, that was your aha moment and your moment for you to be resilient and pivot and no longer have imposter syndrome and just grab the world by its horns or however people say it and make those boss moves to level up because it was something that was going to help you. And in the process, you already knew you had the tools, you had the background knowledge, you had the experience to do it. But what was that invisible hurdle that was keeping you from launching out deep all the other times you tried it and then just retreated back to, oh, the company you were working for, the good paycheck, maybe the benefits, and etc. And I'm so glad that you are where you are right now. So had it not been for your son and life circumstances, do you think that you would have made it to this point?
Gosh, I hope so. I hope that I would have been like, wake up, like get out. I may not have been as far as I am, but I think that one way or another, life was gonna point me in this direction. And there's a question in there. What was the question?
So the question was, had it not been for life circumstances and you going through that hard season with your son, would you have made it this far on your own? And just having that aha moment, I
Yeah.
think just helped you realize that I am worth so much more. My family is important. I'm
Yes.
a priority and I no longer need to settle for less.
Yes. And I just remember the invisible hurdle. What was the invisible hurdle?
Yes, what was
Uh,
the invisible
yeah,
hurdle?
yeah. Okay. So it was fear. It was all fear of failure. And I didn't want to venture out my own and then just kind of fall flat on my face and have no money. And just really, to me at that point in time was like the end. I was like, I can't go out there and I can't fail. And now, looking back, it's all about trusting yourself. And you can do it. Anybody can do it. You just have to be resourceful. If you want to go into a new industry, learn about your industry, go after it. If you go out on your own and you fail, that's cool. Try again or go find that job, at least in the meantime. Like, really, there's failure is not that bad and there's always a way out of it. And I couldn't see that until I was on the other side, looking back, just being like, wow, that took me so long. And especially I stayed in my industry. I loved marketing, wanted to go out on my own. And the fact that I was just like, I've worked with so many companies and have helped them flourish. Like, I can do this for myself. Like, this is my wheelhouse. And just having that clicking moment of like, okay, yes, that's fear. But, after going through real fear with my son, it felt small to me. And then now looking back, it was just like, even if it is fear and I do fail, it's really like the worst thing is that I go back to a job.
Mhm. But that's not anywhere close to what you're doing. So, with you starting Rising Ranks Digital and picking SEO, so search engine optimization, and your digital strategy, what was the biggest struggle you faced when you launched your company? And then the second part of the question is, why did you pick SEO?
The biggest hurdle, I think, was just getting the first client. I think the first one is hard, not because it's actually hard, but you have to put yourself out there. And the fact of putting yourself out there, which again, I think ties back to fear and being visible and getting out there and, being rejected. But once I actually got out there, and I mean, I emailed everybody I knew. I was like, who wants free marketing? Who wants free marketing? Just, at least trying to have some sort of something in my back pocket, which I don't recommend. I mean, you guys can do that, but anyone starting a business does not have to give free marketing services. I did that, I think, for a month and I was like, all right, I actually need to get paid. But also one of my first clients was at the gym. My first paying client was at a gym and we were just, hanging out after class. And he asked me about what I did. And I was just like, I own a marketing agency. And literally 3 days later, he hired me. So it's just being vocal and being confident about what you do and just really owning that. And then I picked SEO for a few reasons. And one of the main ones being, when I was in that hospital, my husband didn't come with me to the doctor's appointment because we thought everything was fine. It was kind of, we were blindsided. So I took Wyatt by myself. We went to the hospital, and later my husband met me there. But while I was waiting, I was just obviously had so many questions, and I didn't call my husband. I, was waiting for the doctor. So what did I do? I opened up my phone and I started Googling. And if you look at the statistics, and there's, lots of information you can find on this about what people are just searching every day, there are tens of billions of searches every single day. And sure, a lot of them are, hey, where can I buy like the fanciest red shoes? But there's also things like, how to start your own business, how to fix the relationship with my wife. Am I gay? So there's things that are like very, deep seated and very profound that these people are really looking for help in. And, the people who come up on the top of Google, they're the ones who are going to be able to help those people. So for me, that was a really big connection that I had with SEO. And I also saw that there weren't a lot of women in that space. And it was just one of the things that I also love to do, because every month you have to look at the analytics. So again, going back to the puzzle piecing and kind of getting into that creative mindset of how to actually optimize your website, how to move forward, how to get the best results. And yeah, I just, took it from there. And it was also one of those things that I know I didn't have to be online every single day posting on social media. Like I wanted to make sure that my weekends were not doing that.
So, how do you help somebody, Caitlin, who wants to tap into the algorithm? They want to boost their visibility online, especially since, with the pandemic, starting last year, all the craziness, and now this year, because there's still some remnants remaining, and they just are looking to find their spot to really shine, but they're not sure what keywords to use. They're not sure how to make sure their business is really visible in the virtual space, and etc. And sometimes people can easily get consumed with spending too much time on social media that it becomes a job.
Yes, social media, it can really take over your life. And, and that's fine, and you show up every day and some people love it. And there's no like right or wrong way. And like, if you shouldn't do social media, you shouldn't do that. There's just, they all have their place. For social media, it is reaching people more of like the types of people, types of people looking at certain, hashtags or in a certain industry. And you post something and you get the likes right away, which is why I think people like it. And it's a numbers game. Like every day you can see a little number creep up. How many followers you have, how many likes. However, you post something and within 48 hours, it disappears. You have to post it. You have to post again to keep the momentum going. And it's a psychological thing too, that, for these people and these platforms to keep people staying on there. For SEO, it's so underutilized and just totally dismissed for 90% of the consumers out there, or business owners, I should say. And I think it's because it's a long game. It's, you do these posts and, it could take a few weeks for it to even get found online, for, Google to even find it, but you stick with it and you're consistent. Even if you write, one post a week or one post every month, I wouldn't go less than that. But eventually, at the end of the year, if you keep up with your SEO, you're going to be ahead of your competition.
So then, question with hashtags, are you using the same hashtags over and over? Because I keep hearing the term shadow ban. You don't want to use the same hashtags over and over. Then I've heard people say, oh, you should post a video, but you don't necessarily need hashtags. You could just, put a caption and then that will bring traction. There's so many things that are out there, but with you being a SME, so that's subject matter expert, y'all, and she is one in SEO and digital strategy. What are some of your tips that you use personally for like your personal social media and professionally for Rising Ranks Digital?
Yeah, so I use the hashtags. I don't get much traction with the hashtags. But I still use them anyway, just because, I get a few, why not? I'll just, put them on. Video, I've been doing a lot of video. I think right now video content is huge. It's, whether it is posting a video to correspond with your blog post on your website, whether it's short videos on TikTok or reels on Instagram, that's the trend. And so for right now, I follow the video trend, and the next time a trend pops up, I'll be hopping on that one. So again, it's really just kind of like you're chasing on social media, like you're posting every day, and then, it's the newest thing. And so you're over here, and then it changes and you're over here. So I really, for me to grow my account, I really do try to follow those trends as much as like, it kind of like now hearing me say that out loud, I'm like, oh, that sounds so bad, but that's how we've grown.
When you said chasing, it kind of reminded me of the hamster wheel because it's like run,
Yes.
run, run, run. And then you're doing these little runs and these little sprints, and then it's good for 1 minute. Then it's like a fad and it's out. So, do
Yeah.
you have like a team, like your dream team of people, like maybe a virtual assistant or a business analyst or people to kind of help you stay in the know? Because you are a busy woman. And when I see your videos, girl, they are popping, Caitlin. Because I
Oh,
was like,
thank you.
she's a mom. She has like a newborn. Then she has Wyatt. You're doing so many incredible things. And that's exactly what it's like to be that boss lady and level up. So, how do you do it all?
A lot of help. I lean on help. At home we have a nanny for part of the day. We get meal deliveries. For business, I have people who can help me and who can support me, and I wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. And they're the best asset my entire business has. So I really appreciate them.
That is amazing. And then another hard question I'm going to jump into is, we know SEO is search engine optimization, but how do you pair that with AI, artificial intelligence, or RPA, robotic processing automation? Because everything nowadays is automated. So, how do you mesh those three together?
Okay. I'm going to try to answer this, and I hope maybe, and let me know if I did not answer the question. So there are now systems that can write blog posts for you. You give them, I think it's like Ask Jarvis or something, where you can just give them a topic and they will write an entire article for you. They're actually not bad. We don't personally use them just because it doesn't fly with our clientele. However, for some blog posts, if you have no time and you really want to start with your SEO, try it, you know? And then to flip it in the spaces of, AI and all this stuff, it's actually pretty new and people are learning more about it. And for me, any new industry that pops up, I'm all about creating thought leadership posts, creating blog posts with SEO around the topic to educate people on the topic, because these industries are blowing up and people don't necessarily know how to get into the industry. So if you are in AI and you're looking to expand your business, 100% focus on your content creation, and whether that's video, whether that's blog posts, and just get it out there and help get people educated. If they see you first and they're starting to absorb your content, they're going to trust you and they're going to buy from you for life, more than likely.
Yeah, that answers my question because we all know that people buy from those who they know, like, and trust. And then
Mhm.
I like one thing that I heard is like, if you want to be ahead of the curve, you have to start putting your content out there. And if you're the first person to put your content out there, you're already driving traction and you're making your mark. So that's one way that you could tap into AI,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. Then with RPA, robotic processing automation, make sure that you are curating your content around your subject matter and make sure your expertise all tie in together. Does that
That's,
correlate with what you said?
yes, that's perfect.
Okay. And then I want to kind of dive into digital Digital ranks your business, and I want you to tell us more about your business. That way, in case your ideal avatar is in my audience, they could tap into you and you could help them grow and scale up because wow, your background is impressive.
Oh, thank you so much. So we offer digital strategy services, essentially marketing plans. So, if you're planning for the next year and you need help kind of deciding, hey, where should I be showing up? How should I be showing up? Who do I need to be talking to? What's my messaging? That's what we do. That's the digital strategy side of things. And we also offer a few SEO packages. So we have SEO website audits. It's kind of like a one-time deal. We do all the brain work for you. We pass off this huge, pretty neat little audit. And then all you have to do is essentially copy and paste to get your SEO done. And then we have the monthly SEO management. So we do it all for you. Whenever we are hired on as an agency on a monthly basis, it's all or nothing. Just because nowadays that's just how you get to the top is, it's writing content, it's making sure that your SEO is solid on your website and that you are also getting backlinks, which is links from other websites to your own website. So making sure you're on business listings, making sure you're guest blogging and all of those good things. So those are probably the three main tiers that we have. We also have some content writing and repurposing packages too.
And Caitlin, I want you to tell the viewers and the listeners what sets apart Rising Ranks Digital in comparison to your competitors. What are your core values and what's your mission statement?
Well, we are all women ran, and yeah, so that's really exciting. And we're also very transparent. I've had probably 85% of our clients come from another agency, come from another SEO expert, and they literally are just like, nobody responded to me, or they are like, they're doing stuff, I just don't know what they're doing, and I'm not seeing the results. So our processes are all put in place where we all have one platform where we come together, and on a weekly basis, you can see every single thing that we're doing, and we're always in contact. So it's, it makes people feel really supported and really great. And also seeing, they might not totally understand what we're doing, but they can see on the weekly basis, like, oh my gosh, look at all these bullet points. They did all of this for me this week. And of course, we have our monthly reporting as well. And our mission statement is truly just to help the people who have a purpose in life and, wanting to help others. We help them help others by getting found online.
That is amazing. And I like that you said y'all are women ran, which is so important because early on in the segment, you mentioned that there was not a lot of diversity with women being in the SEO space. And you're now creating that opportunity for other women to really tap into that space and level up. And I like that you talked about the core values as well as your mission statement because that is so important because that's a part of your brand, that's a part of you, and you want to communicate that internally to those who are working with you as well as externally to let the people know that I'm here to support you every step of the way. You may not have had a good experience, but you're not going to bash that other company. But what I can do is take what you have, build upon it, and show you along the way how I am going to fight for you, I'm going to root for you, and I'm going to give you those results. But it starts by you putting in the work.
Exactly. That's so well said. And, when we do bring clients on, we become a partner. It really is a partnership on both sides.
And Caitlin, now as we wind down, I want you to close us out with once again who you are, how the listeners as well as viewers could connect with you, and share one or two gems because the mission of this platform is to educate, inspire, and motivate. And we all have something valuable to bring to the table.
Yes, I am Caitlin Strempel. I'm the CEO of Rising Ranks Digital. We're an SEO and digital strategy agency, and we help service-based businesses get found online and get to the top of their industry by getting to the top of Google. And you can find me on Instagram at Caitlin Strempel. We have a free Facebook group called Rising Ranks Digital, and our website is risingranksdigital.com. And two gems is, if you are looking to get started with SEO, One, make sure you do your keyword research. Go to a free tool called Uber Suggest and start typing in your keywords, and you'll start to see the questions that people are asking and what questions are easier to rank for. Start ranking for the really easy ones. Start writing content, start optimizing your web pages with all of that. The second gem is, if you are a service-based business, doesn't matter if you're local, national, international, make sure you are signed up for Google My Business. That is going to be the fastest way to get yourself to the top of Google. And that helps you get up in the little map section too, if people are searching locally for your services.
Amazing gems. And you said Uber, is it like Uber, the car app, like Uber?
Uber Suggest, Suggest. It's by Neil Patel, who is a really awesome SEO specialist who I have trained under. And it's one of the only free platforms that you can really do your keyword research on. You have to sign up, but it's essentially just giving them your email, and then you have to log in. But other than that, it's free.
Thank you so much for sharing that and just coming on and adding value to the community, Caitlin. I really wanted to give you your flowers while they could bloom, metaphorically speaking, because I just love what you do. And for those of you listening, I actually used to work for Caitlin. I was her podcast host for a little bit, and now she is doing her own podcast. And we've just had the pleasure of just connecting behind the scenes. And I wanted her to just come on here and just share. And as we wind down, I love to sign out with saying peace, love, and lots of blessings. Remember, you all are amazing. You have incredible gifts and talents. And I don't want you to seek validation in the wrong places, but believe in yourself, kick imposter syndrome in the butt, and rise to your highest level, because your purpose is waiting on you. And you don't need nobody to put you in a box. And don't live in fear, because fear is false evidence appearing real. So overcome fear. And if you fail, fail fast, because failure can also be seen as the first attempt in learning. And until we chat next time, have an amazing day.